Morning, good morning, my dear students. So, till previous day, I have completed the first law of thermodynamics, and we have seen the first law of thermodynamics for flow process and for closed systems, and we have derived some equations. And in the last day, I have solved one problem related to first law of thermodynamics. Now, today I'll start the second law of thermodynamics. So, before going to the details of the second law of thermodynamics, let us understand that what is the significance of second law of thermodynamics. Why first law of thermodynamics is not enough to study the behavior of the nature or the behavior of the process that is taking place in this world. Okay, and from also the second law of thermodynamics, we will be able to understand the concept of reversibility. Okay, so that will be continued in the next and so on classes. So today I will start with the deficiency of the first law of thermodynamics. So why the first law is not applicable for all the processes? So let me. It is applicable, but it cannot explain all the processes, the nature or the behavior of the all the processes. So, what are the deficiency of first law of thermodynamics? First law of thermodynamics, first thing, that it does not tell us about the direction of the process, in which direction the process will happen. Next, first law cannot tells you that the mutual transfer between work and heat. I will explain this one later on. Okay, and first law of thermodynamics only deals with the end states, that means the initial states and the final states, and whatever happening in between the end state or the final state, that is what is happening in the transition states, it is not told by the first law of thermodynamics. So, to overcome this deficiency, one more law originates, that is known as second law. So, second law covers up the first 2 points, that is the direction as well as the mutual transfer between work and heat. But the third one is being covered by another subject. It is known as heat transfer. You will learn about heat transfer in the next year. So we will stick to the first two deficiency, that is that the direction and also on the mutual transfer between work and heat. Okay, so second law also termed as the directional law. Okay, how? So if I want to explain about the directions, so it will give you the feelings of the direction, just like suppose there are several processes happening in this world. Some process can go forward, some process can go backward, and some process can take place in two ways. Just like one example I am giving you, that if we increase the pressure of a balloon, it will be increased by means of pump, but if we puncture it, the pressure will be released and it will move on to its initial positions. Just like your temperature, if we heat a rod, what will happen? Suppose its temperature is 20 degrees centigrade. If we heat it, so it will go on to 80 degrees centigrade by means of heating, because we are giving the heat. Now, if we cool it, the same rod, what will happen? That 80 degree temperature rod will again bounce back to 20 degree. So, this process can happen in two ways, in the forward process as well as in the backward process. But if I tell you about the heating of some water by means of electrical heater, वो घर में रहता है ना electrical heater. So what do? We dip the electrical heater into the bucket full of water and we switch on the plug. What happens? The electric current flows through the coils where it is being resisted, and because of the resistance, heat generated, and that heat goes to the water and that water warms up, okay, or it is heated up. So that is the process. Now if we do the opposite, just like if we cool the same if we cool the same bucket of water with the coil deep inserted into it, does we get back the electrical current? It never happens, right? Because this process cannot reverse back. Just like the fountain, what happens in the fountain? The water from the top goes to the bottom. Does the opposite process happens naturally? Not in natural. We have some several arrangement, pumps, all these things that can take water from bottom to top. But naturally, is it possible to take the water from bottom to top? No. Your heat also. The heat will also always flow from higher temperature to lower temperature. But the opposite is not possible naturally. Right? So we are seeing that the beauty of the nature is that you can see some processes happens in both way direction, but some processes happens in one way directions. So who will decide this? Which law will tell you that which process will go only forward, which process will only go forward as well as backward? That is being told by the second law of thermodynamics. That's why it is known as the direction law. One more day-to-day example I will give you. In the first day of my lecture, I have told you that thermodynamics is bonded with the nature. Just like I will give you one biological term, that your age is daily increasing. Today, if your age is 21, the next year it will be 22. In that next year it will be 23. But after the next year it will be 21 again. No, it is never possible, because you cannot be younger. You always be older, right? So that is the direction of your age, and that is being told by the second law of thermodynamics. That's why the thermodynamics deals with the laws of nature, right? So there are several statements about your second law of thermodynamics. I will come on to that later on. But this is the first point, that thermodynamics, the second law of thermodynamics tells you about the direction. Now the second point is being covered by the second law of thermodynamics, that is the mutual transfer between the work and heat. How could you get the feeling? Because thermodynamics, you have to feel, you have to think that what is happening. So the mutual transfer between work and heat. So in here, the mutual transfer between work and heat, there is a concept of high grade energy and low grade energy. Just like if I tell you that if there is some, that from the first law of thermodynamics, energy can be transferred. Okay, energy can transfer from one form to another form. It is neither be created nor be destroyed. So we have heat available, we have work available. Okay, so I am not going to the process how we are converting the energy from one form to another. Just we are converting the energy. So we have heat, we have work. Now, if I give you heat, can you fully convert heat into work? No, it is not possible. It is never possible that you cannot fully convert heat into work, because some amount of heat will be wasted. But the opposite, if you have some work, you can fully convert it into heat. Right? That is the mutual transfer between work and heat. That's why the concept of high grade energy and low grade energy comes into the picture. High grade energy means that energy which will be fully converted into low grade energy. But low grade energy, it cannot be fully converted into high grade energy. Okay, so that's why work is being considered as high grade energy and heat is being considered as low grade energy. Okay, so this is the concept of second law, why second law comes in the picture. Okay, so next we will see that the statement of second law of thermodynamics. Okay, fine. Thank you.